Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel once again. My name is Damilare Odulesi, as some of you already know me. I'm a DevOps engineer. I also train people on DevOps engineering. I'm also an AWS consultant. Today, I've come to speak to you about one of the most important AWS services that people rarely talk about, and it's very, very important that it cut across almost every aspect of AWS. Once again, I'm Damilare Odulesi, and okay, of course, if you are looking at this, okay, this is just an AWS T-shirt. Being an AWS consultant and someone who is involved in different AWS community events and all that, so having T-shirts like this is just one of the many things. But today I'm not here to talk about my T-shirt and all. So let's speak about that very service I want to talk to you about, which is VPC. So this video is going to break down some things about VPC and let you see some things about VPC. And the subsequent video, we're going to have some hands-on practice on VPC, and you will see how it goes. So first of all, so the topic of what this video is understanding AWS VPC, the backbone of cloud network and security, and that is the essence of me doing this video. You see, VPC is one of the biggest thing in AWS that many times you don't even know how big it is because you get started working and you never had to do anything on VPC, and you feel like, oh, you don't see VPC in most of those things. And let me tell you why VPC matters is because every AWS resource connects directly or indirectly to a VPC. Yeah, you probably did not know that there are many things you did on your AWS resources that you did not understand that there is a connection with AWS on the ground because you didn't do it directly, so you didn't know. So VPC defines how your resources communicate securely and efficiently. It's like your private data center in the cloud. That's it. So you having your data center but privately, in the cloud. That is what VPC does to you. So each time I teach networking and security, I'm always reminded of how powerful VPC truly is. It influences almost everything in AWS. And many times, newbies who come into AWS, they don't even know that they are using VPC underwood in many of the things they do. So what is VPC? VPC is a logically isolated network in AWS. That's it. So it's a way of isolating your own network to you within your own account in the cloud. So it gives you full control over your IP ranges, your subnet, your routing, and your firewalls. These are some of the big things you do with AWS. With AWS VPC, it enables secure communication between AWS resources. Many times when you see your resources communicating with each other and all that, you did not understand that there's a lot of things, a lot of these things are being done because of VPC. So think of it as your personal segment of AWS network, your own mini internet. Yeah. So AWS VPC controls almost everything you do on your AWS account and within many of your resources. So the power of VPC is so strong that EC2 instance can't exist without a VPC. Many times you don't even understand that. Many newbies, when you come to start using AWS, one of the first thing you want to put up is I want to provision EC2 instance. But because of how it works, many times you are provisioning EC2 instances using default security services, which are powered by VPC. But because many of these things have been done for you under hood such that you don't need to be the one to do it. That's why you didn't understand that you cannot even put up any server EC2 instances without a VPC. Your databases, your RDS, Lambda, your ECS, they all depend on VPC. Your security group, your network access control leagues, work within VPC. They are within VPC. They can't work alone. Your internet access is controlled by gateways that are inside VPC. So you can see how strong VPC is. VPC is like the brain that connects every organ in the AWS. So it is so important that almost many of the resources on the AWS will not work without a VPC. So usually what AWS does is that there's always a default VPC that is created with every account. So once you have your account and you are in any region, there's a default VPC that has been configured for you, and that's why you don't need to provision VPC or configure VPC before you can start doing many things. And AWS automatically creates that default VPC in every region. So it comes with subnet, routing, and internet access, all pre-configured. It allows beginners to launch EC2s without learning networking first. So that's it. So many times as a beginner, the first thing you want to do is I want to provision EC2. What you do not understand is that your EC2 is powered by VPC, but because it will become another issue for you if you have to first learn the basics of networking before trying to. So AWS has done it such that there is a default VPC that has been pre-configured for you. You can just use. So many times, if you look at it, you're actually using the default VPC resources when you are putting on your EC2. So AWS gave you that pre-built highway so that you can start driving on. You get so that you with time then you get to learn about AWS VPC. So when you look at AWS VPC architecture, you have your basic two-tier example. For instance, when you create your EC2 instance, for instance, you see your IP and all of those things. Those IP they did not generate from by just default from anywhere. They were determined and dictated by your VPC. So that this is why VPC is so important. So you need to understand that many of your public subnet, your private subnet, all of them are powered by VPC. So in the setup, you have the web server. Of course, your web server lives in your public subnet, and the database, of course, stays securely in the private subnet. So these are things that are powered by your VPC. So it's your VPC that power most of the things that you see. And when you look at the security component in VPC, I said VPC controls your both security and networking. Yeah. And many times I do say that there's no way you will speak about networking that you won't speak about security. They both work hand in hand. But the truth is that both of them are controlled directly or indirectly by your VPC. Your security group, which you use when you are creating your EC2 instance, all of these are inside VPC. Your network access control list, which controls your subnet and all of this, they are in your VPC. Your route table or route table, as you may want to call it, that configures your traffic direction and all of that, all of these are in your VPC. How about your internet gateway, your NAT gateway, which makes sure you either have access to the public internet or not? All of these are controlled by your VPC. So you can see that VPC gives you that layer of defense. So you decide who to talk to and who not to talk to, and all of these things are controlled by VPC. So when you're talking about networking and security in the cloud, the first thing you should think about is actually your VPC, because that's what actually controls all of this. So when you look at it in a real world use case, you are hosting a secure web application. You have your, probably, let's say you have your multi-tier architecture where you have your front end, back end, your database, and all of that. Or you have your hybrid cloud, which you have on premises, and then you have some of your architectures in the AWS cloud. Or you try to isolate your devs, your staging, your production, environment. All of these things are controlled by VPC. So it's so much important that there is almost nothing you do in the cloud that you do not need to use VPC. So VPC isn't just like a theory. In every real world cloud solutions you do, many times they are dependent on VPC. So VPC is so important. So there are different ways you can use your VPC in doing many things in the cloud. You are using your multi availability zones and all that for higher availability. All of these are still controlled by VPC. You want to separate public and private subnets. All of these are still in VPC. You want to use your NAT gateway for secure internet access. You want to enable flow log for traffic monitoring. You want to avoid overlapping insiders. When you are doing all of these things, VPC also controls it. Like I told you earlier, VPC determines your IP range and all of that, which are of course dictated by your CIDR blocks and all of that. So you can see that VPC is so important that there is almost nothing you do in the cloud that you don't use VPC. So when you design your VPC, so you design like a well-secured city, because that's it. VPC is like the security to your house. It organizes, it controls everything, and tells who to talk to what, and gives VPC gives the boundary of what to do and what not to do. So in conclusion of this very video, in the next video we're going to do a little hands-on on VPC so that you see some of the things I'm talking about. So VPC is the foundation of your cloud networking. So when you're talking about cloud networking, the first thing you need to go and learn is VPC. Every AWS networking and security decision traces back to VPC. So the more you understand it, the better control you have over your cloud. So VPC is so important that you need to understand it, because when you understand VPC, you can be able to decide a lot of things and have your own control over many of your resources in the cloud. So let's stop here today. If you want to learn more about VPC, or you want to learn more about becoming a cloud engineer or a DevOps engineer, you can always reach out to me on my LinkedIn. I'm always available on my LinkedIn page. You can send me a DM, then we can discuss about it. I train students, so you can always enroll for my DevOps engineering training. So I'll see you in the next video, where I'm going to do a little bit of hands-on on VPC. We're going to create VPC real time, and I'm going to show you some of the way VPC is connected to many things we do in the cloud. Until then, my name is Damilare Odulesi. See you in my next video. Thank you.